Today I messed up by hatching a nest of hundreds of baby black widow spiders in my bedroom. This did, essentially, happen today. A couple weeks ago my 5-year-old daughter found a black widow mom in her egg sac. She wanted to look at it, so I very carefully scooped it up into a jar, twisted on the top and went around it with duct tape for good measure. She begged to let them hatch so she could watch them, and this seemed to be decent science homeschooling, after which point I planned to put them in the freezer for a somewhat humane death. What's the harm, I thought. They are sealed up well. Well, guess what, they weren't. The jar I used was plastic and something some toys had come in. There were small holes in the bottom and sides, barely visible. Smaller than a hole punch, but plenty big for a baby black widow. So today we're going about our lives, when she notices a tiny spider. I kill it. Then there's another. Then another. I start to think, oh no. I grab the jar to find the egg sac has indeed hatched, with hundreds of tiny little venom weapons. But I see with the relief the duct tape is still there, there's no way they could have gotten out. Till I look at my hand. In the moment I was holding the jar, one crawled onto my hand. At which point I noticed the holes. I screamed, said some words that definitely shouldn't be said in front of a 5-year-old, and wanted to fling away the jar but managed to hold onto it in fear that tossing it would further distribute its murderous contents. Now my child is playing outside while I furiously vacuum and clean and wash every surface. God have mercy. Too long. Didn't read. Thought I was showing my child some cool nature in action, ended up with nature all over my bedroom, where nature means hundreds of baby black widows. Further edits, thank you so much to the kind people who Venmo'd me money for the exterminator. Who am I now definitely going to get to come tomorrow? I'm actually going to return the funds because I was able to get it worked out, but thank you so much. People asking how I could be that stupid, I dunno, frazzled homeschooling single mom, corona exhaustion and just poor judgment, I guess? We've raised lots of other insects in jars with no escapees, so I guess I got a little overconfident about the status of jar impenetrability. Yep. I messed. Even further edit, while most people are upset that I didn't immediately kill it with fire and I stupidly brought it inside, enough people are upset about my inhumane treatment of the spiders that I wanted to comment on it. They were originally on the porch, not far out in nature, and given how dangerous they were, I felt I was making a choice between killing them then and there or later. I don't normally have the ability to drop what I'm doing in a day, a drive out to the middle of nowhere, far away from other humans, to release dangerous spiders. The observation option, if I had done it correctly, seemed like it would at least offer the opportunity to see them hatch, which does make a pretty educational impact on young kids, I think, more than another YouTube video. I do not torture animals for fun. I'm a vegetarian and hold that life is sacred. Besides mosquitoes and dangerous insects, I don't kill things. I get why compassionate people were upset by this. The spiders are still alive, not frozen, and now, since she's Reddit internet famous, today I will drive to the middle of nowhere and release the mom spider to go about her spider life far away from people. If anyone wants to suggest a name for her, go for it, and she will live in hated/beloved infamy. In the true spirit of the internet, I'm sure this will manage to displease everyone, the people who are upset I did this in the first place and will exterminate the inside ones now, and a substantial number of people who want me to kill it with fire and will think it's crazy to release the mom smile. Sorry about that. I'll post a picture of the release later, if I get a chance, and everyone can sleep with their preference of more soundly, less soundly for knowing she survived. Today I messed up by telling my grown-ass college students what contraceptives are at a conservative Christian university. I'm a grad student teaching freshman English courses at a conservative Christian university. At the end of the semester, my students have to present a slideshow proposing a change they think would make the world better. One of my students, Steve, asked if he could make his slideshow about safe sex education being made mandatory in all public high schools. Me, not even sure if I was allowed to approve a topic in favor of rampant and unchecked fornication among the youths of America, eventually told him to go for it, warning him that he'd have to be very careful about what he put in his slideshow, considering his topic. The day of Stephen's presentation arrives. He marches to the front and begins his slideshow, entitled The Case for Contraceptives. It's great. He tells a story about bees, who, if they want to get some sweet nectar from flowers without spreading any of their pollen around, need to learn to wear little booties on their feet. I laughed through the whole thing and then turned to the class to discuss the presentation's effectiveness. But several students had blank expressions. Finally, one of the students, Goober, this student and his nickname is Pure Gold, but that's another story, raised his hand and said, "Ms. Holt, what's a contraceptive?" I started to smile but stopped as I realized he was serious. I paused and remembered my life before college, shuttled in a bubble between homeschooling and church and youth group. We had a brief discussion about contraceptives then and there. The next day, my classroom behavior under review, I was warned I was under unofficial probation. Everyone at this university signs up as an at-will employee, meaning we can be fired at any time for any reason. Names changed to protect the guilty too long. Didn't read. I nearly lose my job at a conservative Christian university after explaining what contraceptives are to a few of my confused students. Edit, many people are asking why I choose to work at such an institution. I'll ask myself the same question until I graduate and leave. But in the meantime, I love my students, and I'll keep trying to crack open their brains like my homeschooled Christian brain was cracked open when I first went to college. Also, several people have messaged me asking me if I go to their school, and they've named so many different schools. Ugh. This is America.